and there's a beehive near me. I forgot about it. I better go the other way.
Hello, everybody. This is AKA Heather Joy, and you are aboard the lifeboat. And I have Mr. Ray Ray with me, which is really cool. He was just showing me some of his chickens. That's awesome. Anyway, before. Oh, is that me? Oh, it's me. Oh, turn myself off. Good grief. I don't want to hear myself talk. Thank you, hon. I didn't realize that I had. Is it. What the heck? Just turn it down. Whatever. Okay. I apologize, guys. I am here outside today. It is so nice here in the shade that it just feels so nice
There you go.
outside.
Uh,
Mr. Ray Ray's a little bit warmer, however.
oh,
Okay, before I get started, I have to run through the rules that we have here on the lifeboat. And actually, guys, I have a new video that Mark put together for me, and I just haven't put any music with it yet, so I haven't put it up. But yeah, I have a video to do all this stuff. But anyway, the rules that we have here on the lifeboat. First of all, in the comment section and the live chat, please refrain from discussing politics. They're just far too they're a very sensitive subject right now for a lot of people, so please steer clear of that. The second rule, well, this isn't a religious channel. It's fine to say things like, hey, I'm going to pray for you, or you making statements like, I couldn't have found sobriety without my faith. Those are all fine, but any kind of overbearing religious tones, yeah, please stay away from that. The third rule we have here is please refrain from cursing in the chat and the comment section. As Tommy always says, oh, we lost him. Anyway, oh dear. Tommy always says, though, where if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And I wholeheartedly agree with that one, guys. Also, the fourth one, and I apologize for the noise, it's usually quiet on days like this. So, anyway, the fourth one, there is absolutely no room on this boat for trolls at all. If you're going to be mean, you're just going to get banned. That's all there is to it. I also would ask you at the moment, please exit out of the live chat and go hit that thumbs up button for me. Please hit that like button. Please share this out. We want to reach as many people as we can. Doing those things really helps. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would really love it, guys. Yeah, thanks. Okay, guys. I want to talk today about complex PTSD. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to kick myself off. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit more. Let's just take a closer look at complex PTSD. It's something that I know a lot of us, being addicts, this is something that we struggle with. It's been, I need to bring Mr. Ray Ray up there again. Anyway, let's see. I was saying,
can everybody see me?
I can hear ya. Can everybody? Oh, you know what? I'd lost the comments. There we go. Let's see.
There you go.
And I failed to mention too, guys. I apologize. I put the link at the top of the chat. If and Mr. Ray Ray found it, and so we know it works. But if you guys are always welcome. If you are struggling, you need to talk. Um, I'm more than happy to have you come on. And I don't think that's why you're here, is it? Or maybe it is, and you just need some.
Yeah, I like clicking on buttons. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But that's there for, you know. Please use it. Please use it. You know. I loved that. I was so impressed. It
No,
was
I
last
was
year in
just
October.
being mischievous, clicking on.
You're not the only one that's done that. But I was so impressed.
Yeah,
Last year it was October when I discovered the lifeboat,
right on.
and I was so impressed with Tom. That Tommy and Mark had that call in. I called in that day. I called in because I was just really impressed with the whole thing, and you guys are here. You know, that's what we're here is to support people. So you know, I'm I'm really tickled that you've jumped on. That's more support for everybody. So anyway, let's see. Oh, I was talking about though. I wanted to look more, to take a better look at
Yeah,
complex PTSD because
we're good guys.
I think a lot of it. I think a lot of us struggle with this, and that's why we had the addiction. We were self medicating. So I
Yeah.
wanted to look more at this. Oh dear, he's gone again. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I need to say hi to everybody in the chat, though. Good grief. I apologize, guys. And my computer's giving me fits. Comments. Give me the comments. There we go. Okay, now I can see them. I'm sorry, guys. We got snot faces in the house. Alf, full of hope. Hello, lovely lady. And Miss V. And Blake is here. Charlie's here. Charlie, thank you for everything. You guys, Charlie is always so awesome. He's always here helping us out. He's always moderating. He's always putting things in the comments, and you're awesome, Charlie. We really appreciate you. Let's see. I've got Dominic is here. Awesome. I haven't seen that name in a little while. I'm glad you're here. Let's see who else we have. Patrick's here. Chili Phil. Let's see. Crazy Brumfield. Cindy Party. Hey, Cindy. Glad you're here. And Matthew Future. Is it Matthew Future? Anyway, that's a new name. I'm really glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And Noise Opera, thank you. That's the first super sticker I've ever had for the lifeboat. Thank you. And I just want to remind you guys that, all of the money that comes in from, monetizing the channel or from any donations and super stickers, super chats, all of that goes to helping get people on medical assisted treatment. It's all, it's all help. And thank you, you guys. It's you guys that, you know, the memberships, paying for that, all of that all of that money goes to helping people. So it's a beautiful thing. I love it. But thank you, Noise Opera, for that. That's awesome. Let's see, we have Lemmy's here, and who else have I not mentioned? Jennifer Rice. Hey, I'm glad you're here. And let's see, who else? If I have missed you, I apologize. We've got Sharon Chandler. Cool. Greg F. And I know Mark is listening, so hey, Mark, the our blue Kool-Aid Mark, that Mark. Mark Wages, yeah, I know he's watching. Monk is here. Guilty as hell. Oh, now everybody comes out and turns their motorcycles on. Good grief. All day long it's been quiet, and then I get started. Anyway, welcome everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. I'm glad to see everybody. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around today. Uh, let's see. You're gonna have to wait, buddy. I'm not getting up to open that. You'll have to wait, or you can come sit with me. Sorry, guys. I got my chicken that has kidney failure. She's still with me. She's doing well. She's over here reminding me that she's here. It's funny. She's still laying eggs. She can't. We're not sure. We couldn't. The vet and I we couldn't figure out what it was exactly. If she's just in kidney failure, or if she's got like a tumor on her kidney, but her she can't use one of her legs because with chickens, the nerves that control their legs go through their kidneys, and she's got all of the she's had like chicken gout. She's got all these different symptoms of um, kidney failure, but we're just not sure what's causing it. But she's still with me. She's still laying eggs. That's the crazy thing. She's healthy enough, even with her bad kidneys, that she's laying eggs. It's crazy. Sweet little girl, though. Anyway, let's see. So I got this book, and I know I posted on the community tab that one day this complex PTSD book. I'm just really impressed that the author of this one, her name's Ariel Schwartz. She has an awesome website up, and this is what she specializes in. She's a doctor. She's got her PhD. I believe it's in psychology, I believe is what it is. But I mean, she knows her stuff, and I'm just really impressed with her. So I'm taking everything that I'm going to be talking about today is coming out of this book. I mean, she's really put together the research that's available and everything, and I'm just really impressed with her. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys, because this is something I know personally I need it. I'm still There's so many things that I have, successfully been able to deal with, as far as my progress with therapy and counseling and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of things I've been able to overcome, a lot of things I've been able to deal with, and turn them into, just memories instead of, things that trigger flashbacks and stuff. I've been able to do a lot of that, but there are still things from my childhood. I mean, from way, way back that happened that have had such a lasting effect on me. I know I need this, and I know that I'm not the only one out there that that is dealing with these mental health challenges. Um, but let me look at my notes here. Where did I start with this one? It really does. It takes a lot of courage to look at your childhood trauma square in the face. Sometimes it's really scary. When traumatic things happen to children, if it's significant enough, it can stop their development, their emotional growth and development, and they get stunted. We get stunted at that. That's why so much of the time when you're trying to deal with issues, you'll see it in people that act very, very childish, and they'll be fighting and arguing, and you'll see the conversation going back and forth, and you think, what are they, 5? But yeah, they are. They actually are. You can get stunted. Your growth can get stunted, and you can get stuck there until you deal with the trauma and replace the behaviors that you had been doing. To deal with it, you have to replace them with something very positive. But it takes a lot of courage to do that, and because you really are just, you know, you're going back to that point. You're at that age again, all over, and all of the feelings that you're going to have that come with the memories and all of that comes flooding back from trauma. It's not an easy thing to look at. I used to run from mine. I mean, run. by, metaphorically, by um, medicating myself, with my favorite thing was prescription painkillers. That was my thing. And yeah, glad that I made it past that, but I am still, there's still a lot of things that you know, I'm dealing with that go back to my childhood and the traumatic environment that I grew up in. It can be daunting. It can be terrifying. You might feel like you're a small child again when you have to face these things that, these difficult things from your past. But you really do, you need a source of light in the darkness. You need to be able to have that light to help find yourself. I mean, find your way out. You really, end up in an emotional type of prison in so many ways when you have this unresolved trauma. Um, and it doesn't matter. It could be a history. It doesn't matter what it was that has caused it. It could be, it could be a history of, I can't say that on YouTube. You guys, I think you understand what I'm referring to there. It could also be physical abuse. It could be mental, emotional abuse. Um, but I want to remind you guys, and maybe I haven't never said this one before. I might not have, but this is what I used to teach a lot of my patients when I was a psych nurse, was that it does you absolutely no good to compare what you are going through to what someone else is going through. You can't compare traumatic events. You can't. I mean, they don't translate. It doesn't work that way. Um, and I saw this firsthand when I, did the same traumatic environment can have very different effects on people. Depending on your birth order sometimes, or your personality. There's a lot of things, but I was amazed in the family that I grew up in. For a time, I was the only one that was saying, "Hey, there were some messed up things that went on here, and I want to know why." I wanted, first of all, I just wanted my mother to know I am not happy. This has messed me up. I used to be really angry about it, but you can't compare your 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 trauma to other people. I was talking about, yeah, with my siblings. The first time that I ever tried to talk to my mother about everything that had happened and everything that went on, she denied everything and just told me basically that I was crazy and making stuff up for attention. Very frustrating. And all of my siblings at that time went along with her and said, "Yeah, you're making this up. That never happened." And I said, "Wait a minute." And I would, list off things that, we'd all been present for. But what I ended up learning was that the house I grew up in had very different effects on my siblings when compared to me. And two of them still claim that nothing really ever happened, that there was nothing wrong. Kind of frustrating sometimes, but it's because, we're all different, and what has affected me, and it's affected me so deeply, has affected, I can see the effects on all my siblings, but it's affected them to the degree that they've been affected, and it is very different. It's been interesting, but it does not, anyway. Don't compare something that you have been through to something that someone else has been through. Does absolutely no good. And on top of that, there are a lot of people that are extra sensitive, and the same occurrence is, like I said, it's going to affect people differently. And I am a very, very sensitive person, and that's another reason why I had such different, long lasting effects, of the home I grew up in when compared to my siblings. But there's just no way to gauge, your suffering and compare it to someone else's. It just doesn't work. So don't worry about that. I used to when I was getting help for my eating disorder in my early 20s, I looked at all of the things that the other women that I was meeting that were dealing with the same eating disorder issues. Um, what they had been through was a lot of SA from family members and things. They'd been through some really awful things. Where mine, comparing my what I grew up with, I mean, it was very different. And I used to be embarrassed, like, why am I so devastated? Why am I dealing? Why am I struggling so much when nothing, compared to what these other women had gone through, it was nothing. But I had to learn. You can't compare. I am a very, very sensitive person, and I can see now just how deeply it has affected me, how permanently it has affected me. Um, Matthew Future, you said I do feel like a wuss. I cry at almost anything. That's not being a wuss though, and that's actually very healthy to release, to be able to cry. It's very good for you. It really is. It's cathartic. It releases a lot of pent up emotion at times. There is something that don't ever be embarrassed or afraid of crying. Um, don't use it to manipulate people, but I mean, but there's no shame. There's no shame in crying at all. It's necessary. Um, the Scopa brothers made you cry yesterday, Alf. What did they do? I didn't. I'm curious what they did. Oh, James Novak, I see you're here. Jason P, you popped in. Cool. Glad you guys are here. And Brandon, see Brandon's here. Awesome. Anyway, let's see. Where was I? Okay. Um, yeah, don't compare. That's what I was talking about. Because every person's experience is going to be very unique and very different than anyone else. You're gonna have different experiences and different wounds. Um, but anyway, what I do want to say next is that you know unresolved trauma definitely has consequences, guys. There's definite consequences to unresolved trauma. Uh, there's so many things that can it can affect. Let me listen to this. How it can deeply impact your mental health, your emotional health. You can really struggle in those areas. I mean, addiction is a very real issue with people that are dealing with complex PTSD. Uh, Autoimmune disorders, where your immune system gets so ramped up, and it's like it's on call constantly, and it gets overtaxed. And so when you do have a true infection, something that your body needs to fight off, you're already so overtaxed that your body can't properly fight it off. That's a big problem with that's autoimmune disorders. That's kind of what it is. Your body ends up, it's so ramped up all the time that it ends up attacking itself, instead of just being there, to protect us from infections and things like that. But anyway, thyroid issues is another problem. A lot of times, you have all that inflammation, and it will actually attack your own thyroid. I have that problem. I have to take some medication because my thyroid doesn't function where it should. Let's see. An inability to trust people, that can be a huge problem as far as relationships. And we know how important our connections are, our relationships are. To remain sober, to even get sober, we really have to rely on our relationships to help us. And if you can't trust anybody, that really can create issues with your relationships. That's a very real issue that a lot of people have that have been through something traumatic. um, let's see, you got the stress hormones, the inflammation, fibromyalgia, cancer, diabetes. Some people find, and I used to do this a lot, I didn't mean to do it, but I would dissociate. I would, when something really, really painful started to come back, I would just go somewhere else. And I don't know where I went, but that happened to me a lot in my 20s and 30s. Uh, let's see, diabetes is a very real consequence of unresolved trauma, cancers, disconnection, multiple sclerosis, having flashbacks from something traumatic that you've been through. Um, you have a hard time, controlling your own emotions. A lot of times you get flooded with emotions, and it can be so overwhelming. Um, a lot of times, that people that are dealing with complex PTSD, a lot of the time it is because your parents that were raising you had unresolved stuff. Oh, and I got Alf up here. Hey, hey, Alf. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Oh, I'm so glad you came up. How are you today?
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Uh-oh. Can you guys hear an
I'm
echo?
I'm I'm feeling a little bit better. I was checking in because yesterday I was having a little issue. I hadn't slept in days. I
Oh
had
dear.
fell I had fell and hit my head.
Oh, good grief.
The
How are you
Scoville
doing?
brothers told me that they cared about me and made me cry yesterday, and
Oh, they're good at that, aren't they? They're very caring, and they're awesome. They're awesome, guys.
yeah, they're
So how are you feeling today then? You hit your head. What happened?
a, a little bit of minor concussion symptoms.
Oh, good grief. What happened that you hit your head? Did you trip on something or did you
I
fall?
was
Or...
feeling dizzy because of low blood sugar and not sleeping, haven't slept, and
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay, I gotcha
I
then.
had tripped and hit my head on a doorknob.
Uh-oh. So you probably got a headache. You probably have a lump on your head.
Not as bad as it was.
Well, that's good.
I
Oh
got a
man, I'm
headache.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Have you had some nausea? Has that been? Have you been sick to your stomach?
Yes, I've been nauseous today.
Oh dear. Have you looked
Yeah.
in? Have you looked in the mirror and looked into your pupils? Like look in the mirror. When, next time you go in the bathroom, and just look at your eyes and look at the size of your pupils and make sure that they are about the same size
Mm.
as one another. That I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, darn it. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody that here, everybody in the group helped with the whole make me cry thing because everyone checked in, told me they cared about me, told me I was
Oh, darn it. He's finally.
let me know I was in a group of good people.
Aw, that's awesome.
And I also wanted to mention I brought a special guest today for the first time, Mrs. Alf.
Hey! Hello. Oh, that is wonderful. Aw. Hey, thank you for sharing that with us. This is L. I love it.
Okay, well, I will get off here and
And
let
you
you get
are,
back to
but
what
you
you're
are
doing.
in
I
a
just
safe
wanted to check
place. You
in.
are in a good place. I mean, you know what? Tommy has started such a good support system, and we are glad you are here. Really, you are valued here. We care, and we want you
Thank
to
you.
succeed. We do. This is any of you guys, you need some help, you know where to come. And that's how we get through this together. We keep each other going, we help each other. Oh, and he stepped out, oh darn it, or he got cut out, I'm not sure. But that's awesome. Oh, that's so nice. Alf, thank you for coming on, and thank you. That's awesome. I will, I'm sure Tommy will see this, but yeah, I will let them know. I will let them know how much help they gave you yesterday. And they probably didn't even realize it. They're just that way. Thank you for popping in, guys. I that is awesome. That always makes my day. Let's see. Where was I oh, I was just going through the oh yeah, I remember where I was. I was talking about unresolved trauma and the consequences of unresolved trauma. And a lot of times I was saying that the trauma that we get, that we go through, from our childhood, a lot of times it happened because our parents had unresolved issues as well. And that was the case with mine, I know. But, we don't want to, for all of you younger ones, you don't want to be the parent with the unresolved issues who damage your children. Seriously, it's not fun when you have to, I've had to do that with my daughters and say, look, I messed up. I messed up big time and I am so sorry. What can I do to fix it? And I mean, it's been a wonderful, wonderful healing experience with both of them. They're very good to their mother. Anyway, okay, let's see. So there are very serious consequences when you have unresolved trauma. Uh, trying to find healing, from complex PTSD, and that's a perfect description of it. It is complex. Oh my word, yeah. But you can. The cool thing is that you can heal from this unresolved trauma. You can heal from it. Um, you can it involves a balance though, because what you're doing is you're attending to the wounds of the past in the present, so it's a balancing act, but it really is necessary. um let's there, oh, there's my page. Okay, yeah, like I said, you're okay, taking care of the I'm sorry guys, I keep knocking my laptop, it's just here in my lap. Try to keep it more steady. um, try just doing the day-to-day things that we have to do every day. Getting up. There's always a list of chores that have to be done. You got to keep the house up. You got to have a supply of clean clothing, and clean dishes and food. I mean, there's just things that we have to do every day, and a lot of us have to. A lot of you have to go to work, and you have to work with difficult people a lot of the time. All of that is, you know just the day-to-day things are hard enough in this world, with our economy and just everything going on. The day-to-day things are actually a real challenge right now. They really are. So on top of that, when you add mental health issues, it sometimes can feel, just trying to get through your daily stuff can feel almost impossible. Just absolutely overwhelming at times. So it really, like I was saying, it is a balance to learn, but it can be done. It really can be done. Um, you know, and I was thinking too, just sometimes just maintaining connections and relating to people can be overwhelming when you're trying to deal with your own personal stuff. Um, I know there are some of, I don't know if any of you, I'm sure there are some of you that experience, you get into a situation maybe with like a significant other, or someone you're really close to, and you get into a disagreement and you find yourself shutting down. That happens to me. If there are certain tones used in your voice, or certain words, or certain volume, it will shut me down. It drives my husband crazy. But it's a balancing act. But I want you to remember something: you are not broken and in need of fixing. You're not broken. You're not. What you are is you are deeply hurt, and you are in need of care. You're not broken. You know, Tommy talks about having a little toolbox, or a bag of tricks, something that when you have challenging situations, which we are all going to face, different times things come up there. It could be economic, it could be maybe you lose a loved one. I mean, there are just so many things that can happen though. So we need to have a really good bag of tricks, a toolbox of things that we can do to try to help us to mitigate all of the feelings and the things that happen. Full of, oh, I don't think you're broken. And we both know that what society thinks is bunk anyway. um, anyway, so to to work on, that's what I want to do, is try to give you some tools, some, so you have a few more bag tricks that you can throw in your little bag. um, but what I'm going to have to ask you to do is some self-discovery. you know and self-discovery is a wonderful thing, and it's a lifelong thing, at least hopefully. You spend your life trying to discover new things and open up to new things, and learn new things, hopefully. But self-discovery is a lifelong thing. But it's very rewarding, it really is. And that's something that I'm going to ask you guys to do. You need to find out about you, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised in the end that you're a lot more resilient than you think you are, or what you might feel right now. Yeah, human resilience is something incredible. It really is. Um, I just wanted to talk about, okay, there, it's quite normal to be overwhelmed at times when there's something that triggers something from your past. Like the other day, where was I? It was a specific smell, and it's crazy how well smells can activate our memory. But it put me right back in a certain situation in my childhood, and it was, I can't even remember right now what the smell was, but I was right there. It was just the other day, and I just felt overwhelmed with all these emotions. And it was sudden. It just, something. It was that smell that triggered it, and I was right back there. I was that little girl again, and I felt a lot of shame, um, for the point that it took me back to. You know, being overwhelmed with these emotions, fear and sadness, this is common. And you need to realize that, as you are trying to work out your sobriety, you're going to find those, expect them, but know that you are strong enough to get through this. You've already survived it. So looking at it now, there's no way it can be as bad. Um, but I wanted to make sure you guys understand, PTSD, it refers to the presence of symptoms, well after the traumatic event is over. That's just your basic PTSD. And but the complex PTSD, this results. This is not based on just one event. Okay, this is something that you were exposed to long term. Something traumatic. Um, it wasn't just the response to one single incident, okay? And it typically arises as a result, of ongoing stress that you were exposed to. It could have been something, like a repeated traumatic event even that occurred during childhood, but it's something that it's multiple occurrences over time, and it's kind of a, what's the word I want? Um, Starts with an I. I can't think of the word I want. Anyway, sorry, that's bugging me now. I don't like it when I can't find the words that I want to use. um, anyway, I learned something else when I was, I've read, the first quarter of this book so far. And like I said, yeah, this is something that happens after, from repeated exposure to something. And it was interesting that sometimes they refer to it as developmental trauma disorder. And I thought that was a good description. Because your development can be arrested and just stopped in its tracks when you go through something traumatic. And I want to read you something right out of the book. uh get this bright light. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to read first, though. Hang on here. Oh, okay, nope. Let me back up here. I see where I am. Okay. So, I was talking about that balancing act. And, until you have the necessary support, so that you can heal these old wounds, you're going to feel like you're stuck. You're going to feel like you're in an emotional prison, sometimes. But it is, you really can reclaim your life from all of the childhood trauma that if that's what you are dealing with, you can definitely reclaim your life. um, and it's really important that you understand a little bit better, that you can understand why complex PTSD happens, and you can understand, a little bit more about your situation. You're going to be, it's going to help you as you figure out how you're going to mitigate that. And, it might be different for everybody. But I want to read something. You really have to learn to take care of yourself. Um, Learning self care is a big part of recovering from this. I wanted to read this, just so I bet some of you can understand what this woman was feeling. But this is, the lady that has written the book. She's written here her, one of her patients and her struggle at one point. And she says, by the time I met, and she just gives her a name, Diane. By the time I met Diane, her suffering had become unbearable. She reported experiencing debilitating anxiety mixed with the feelings of hopelessness and despair. She was married, but her relationship was suffering under the weight of her symptoms. In the past year, she had gained weight, developed migraines, and struggled with insomnia. Diane was very skilled at avoiding dealing with her traumatic past. Oh, I excelled at that one, guys. I avoided it at all costs. Yeah. Okay. To survive, she had learned to bury her painful feelings and memories, preferring not to talk about her childhood. It simply hurt too much. She kept a tight lid on her past, but now her migraines and insomnia made her feel as though she were coming apart at the seams. Diane had lost a sense of choice or control over her emotional life. You guys ever feel like that? Um, where would I? Sorry, I just lost my place. Let's see. Yeah, she felt as if she was coming apart at the seams. Yeah. Um, she didn't have control over her emotional life. I know that you guys feel that at times. it's part and parcel of addiction and recovery. Um, anyway, I learned that Diane had a history of exposure to domestic violence during her childhood. Her father was an alcoholic, and her mother was never really involved in her life, other than to tell her what she was doing wrong. With tears streaming down her cheeks, she said, "They should never have had children. I should never have been born." Any of you guys ever feel like that? I remember wishing I hadn't been born many times. When you're in so much pain, you're in so much emotional pain, you don't know what to do with it. You just, you want it gone. But I remember, when you get to those periods of suffering, that you do wish that. Um, I just wanted to read that because I want you guys to know, you're not alone. There's so many people that have to deal with these things. And it's going to, if you are new in your recovery and in your sobriety, then you're going to feel these things, because what we did for so long was just we masked everything, or we hid we hid ourselves from having to deal with our past and with the trauma. That was why we had the addiction. And so you know when you're putting that down and not using it anymore, you're going to come face to face with your childhood trauma. You but I want let's see. But whatever symptoms you are dealing with, if you have got complex PTSD, it's this beliefs and behaviors that you learned. You learned them. They did serve a purpose at the time of the trauma then, you know, um, but they can be replaced. You can replace them with a positive mindset. You can really, if you got a positive mindset and you learn work. Okay. Oh, I am. Okay. I might have to get out the hot spot and turn it on. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Anyway, so mindfulness and relaxation, to what she's saying here in this part of the chapter, that was a big part of Diane's recovery. We're learning mindfulness and relaxation because she had such in her, it said in the beginning, her anxiety was absolutely debilitating. And any of you who have have dealt with extreme anxiety, know it is debilitating. You can't get through your day. It's a difficult thing. Um, and anyway, she found a lot of help about writing about her past. And I have seen that over and over again. I know that Dr. Jordan Peterson, he's so big um, in the psych community, and I really like that guy. But he's really big about writing out your life and figuring out your life. But it really does. It says right here that writing about her past allowed her to feel control about her life now. And I mean, we could all benefit from that. You really, you know, can get control of your life through writing. Um, I wonder if you have ever felt this way. At one point, this lady, Diane, said, "My parents neglected me, and now I neglect myself by not taking care of my body as an adult." How many of you do the same? My parents neglected me, and now I neglect myself by not taking care of my body as an adult. That's a huge epiphany that she figured that out. That's huge. Anyway, it continues here. They could not love me the way that I needed, but I can become good at loving myself. That's me. Good night. Right there. My parents could not give me the kind of love and connection I needed as a kid. They had their own issues. But yeah, I need to take better care of me, and you can start by loving yourself, taking good care of yourself. Self-care is so important, you guys. Oh, it's so important. So in this book, the first writing exercise that is given, I'm going to be writing this in my journal tonight, but it is, in what ways can you relate to Diane's story? Take some time to write down any associations you have. So when I was reading, um, I read that section just a minute ago about how she described Diane and what she found, you know, in her patient Diane, and then Diane's epiphany there. If there's something that, when I was reading those, that struck the chord, do some writing about it this evening. But this whole book is filled with writing assignments, and it's really cool. But they're just short, little, manageable chunks, that you can do. But I just thought that was I don't know. I just wanted to go over these things. I want you guys to just have a better understanding of what complex PTSD really is, and I want you to know that you can overcome this. You really can. I want to read you this section. It's called "Embracing the Change." It says, "It is human nature to seek safety and stability." And you might say, how many of us say this? This is who I am, and this is who I will always be. How many of us have just come to, that's fine, for things that about yourself that you cannot change. But thinking that way can be very limiting. This is who I am, and this is who I will always be. Well, this is who I will always be. Are we always going to be addicts? We know very well. That's why we're here. We know you can't continue in addiction. You can't sustain it. And especially in this day and age, especially if you are doing illicit substances, fentanyl is in everything. It's going to kill us. It's impossible to be a perpetual addict anymore. It really is. We know it doesn't work. We know that. Oh boy, we got 5 minutes left. Okay, let me just finish reading this section to you guys. I just really want you guys to have a better understanding of this. Um, okay, familiar repeated routines simplify life and conserve energy, and they do. They can help manage stress because there is comfort in what is known. That's very true. New situations require more awareness of our surroundings. Some routines may temporarily reduce stress, but can lead to unwanted consequences and unhealthy habits such as obesity, procrastination, self sabotage, or addictions. In order to embrace any change, we need to take specific action to challenge behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve us. And you guys, you're all awesome because you've already figured out that one of the things that you were doing to cope doesn't work. And you're here on the lifeboat. You guys are the smart ones. Let's see, where was I? Okay, yeah, research suggests creating any desired change in life requires repeated practice of the new health promoting change or behavior, sorry, until it becomes a habit. And I did a show on habits before. I have to come back to that one. Anyway, getting regular exercise, okay, a healthy diet, positive social connections, those things are some of the best things you can do. Self care. No matter what you've gone through, you have the ability to heal your body and your mind. Okay, the tricky part is once you allow yourself to feel the pain, to face it head on, you can free yourself from it. When you recognize that limiting beliefs are running your life, you can take charge of your mind and begin reclaiming your right to a positive outlook on life. It can be done. You have to look at whatever is painful, you're going to have to face it. But it's definitely doable. And you've already survived it once. Looking at it now, isn't going to be as bad. You can do this. Anyway, I don't know if that helped, but I still do have more that I want to talk about with PTSD. I just want you to understand all of the. I will be going over this, about more of the situations that create it, and I want you to understand what the symptoms really are, because I think this issue is a lot more prevalent than previously thought. At least that's what I'm seeing from the research that I have been seeing. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm really glad you guys came. We've got Swiss Vapor, I saw was in the chat. That was awesome. And Jennifer popped in, and Alf's wife, which is really cool. That's sweet. And we're just looking to see if anyone else popped. Oh, Jason P popped in. Let's see. Anyway, really good to see everybody. I hope that this stuff is helpful. If it's not, let me know, because I won't spend time on it if it's not helpful. But that's why I'm here. I really do want to help you guys. I know this stuff is not fun to deal with, and I know very well how much it hurts. But I also know that you can do this. You can overcome these things. I'm still working. I'm still got stuff I'm working on, but there's a lot of things I've been able to overcome, and if there's any way I can help you guys to get through something, I want to do it. That's my calling. Honestly, that is one of my big callings in life, is just trying to help and heal. And I love you guys. I love coming on and being able to connect with you guys. I hope you have a really good Sunday night. I will be talking to you guys again tomorrow. I don't know what time yet, but anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope you have a great night. Love you guys. I'll talk to you again soon.